Well. It's finally come down to this. What's up, people of the world? It's me again, Alex Swimmer, aka AP3 Jumped In. Today, I am doing my very first episode review for Amphibia. And tonight, I'm doing my review for none other than the season finale entitled Reunion, the season 1 finale. So yeah, there's a lot I want to say. Yeah, none of these reviews are scripted, so it's going to be even harder for me to get across what I want to say for this video because I have a hell of a lot to say. So I'm just going to say whatever comes to mind. However, I do actually. The only scripted part is the beginning. That's really it. That's the only part of the video I've actually rehearsed. And also, I've intentionally made my hair look messy this way to imitate the bushy hairstyle of Anne Boonchoi. Although trying to do this, I wind up looking a little bit more like Chase Matthews than than Anne Boonchoi. So yes, I messed it up. But yes, Amphibia. This show, it's only been on TV for like a month. It actually it has a little bit more history than this because my introduction to Amphibia. Now I remember finding out about the show like a long freaking time ago, like last year or something, and I remember Velsky Bum 94 talking about it, and I remember how he was also saying that Disney Channel veteran, longtime Disney Channel cast member Brenda Song was going to be in this, and she was going to play the lead character, and so yeah, and like last month when they had their special preview for their first episode, they had the entire first full episode available on YouTube, like other shows have done, such as DuckTales and the newest Ninja Turtles cartoon, and which I took advantage of those as well. I forgot Amphibia was even going to be a thing, and once I stumbled upon it on YouTube, the first episode, I checked it out and I instantly fell in love. So, I mean, I didn't get into it super right away, but once I did, I was able to watch all the episodes in order. Actually, I waited about a week or so after I watched the first episode on YouTube. So, I mean, the show premiered on June 17th, but I still watched it like right as the month of June was about to end. So yeah, and it's been airing on Disney Channel every day, Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. for the past 5 weeks, and there have been 20 episodes, 39 stories, which for an animated series, that's a lot. Combining all of the stories into all of the 20 episodes, that's 39 freaking stories. And Reunion is the first half-hour story. So, yeah, it's a lot for an animated series. And why do I love this show? And why has it become my new favorite show this year? My new favorite cartoon specifically? Well, to put it simply, this show has it all for me. It has... It never fails to make me laugh because it's hilarious. It's very charming. It's very endearing. There's a lot of humor. There's mystery. There's drama. There's even a little bit of romance from time to time. There's a really awesome fantasy setting, and there's great characters, great story, great writing. The jokes are well written, and some of them wouldn't be too out of place in the Lego movies, because the way some of the jokes are written remind me a lot of Lego movie humor a little bit. But yeah, this show is just 100% solid all across the board in all aspects, and so yeah, I instantly fell in love. I fell in love with the characters, and it's pretty much that's pretty much it with that. So let me actually talk about the episode because yeah, this is going to be difficult to say all in one video because so much stuff happened in this episode, and yeah, let's just go right to the chase. So yeah, this episode it was hyped up a lot, and it was how do I put this? This episode was an event, and everything leading up to it, like from the start of this season all the way up until now, it seriously delivered. Now, the conclusion of this first season, it was just so many layers of depth and emotion. It was very emotional and very touching, and I mean, there was just so much going on. We so yeah, there's I don't even know where to begin, but I so I told you this is going to be difficult. I guess I'll say what I loved about this particular episode was that it didn't fail to deliver a good finale to this chapter of a season, and it did so in such a spectacular way. I mean, sure, I was still left with questions. We're all still left with questions about so many things, like what about the Calamity Box? Where the hell's Marcy? And but even though there's still unanswered questions, which we'll have to wait for in season 2, aka part 2, and but even though there's still unanswered questions, this was still a pretty perfect season finale, and I absolutely loved it. Like I said, it was very, it was quite gripping. Honestly, it made me cry. Like this episode messed me up like all day yesterday, and because I was still processing what was happening throughout the whole episode because of a sheer amount of stuff that was happening and the major conflict that was happening between particularly between Anne and Sasha. Like that, I think when it really comes down to it, that's the absolute major conflict of this whole episode. Because when Anne and Sasha reunite in the penultimate episode, and of the year, that right there leads to the cliffhanger to this, and so I want to say that's the central point of this whole episode. If I'm doing a terrible job at summing this episode up, I apologize, because there's just a lot to go into with this. So yeah, Sasha, she's interesting because she's been friends with Anne since kindergarten, and yet she's so manipulative. She was pretty much a user, and if it wasn't for her influence and her peer pressure, Anne would have never have wanted to steal the Calamity Box in the first place, as revealed in the Best Friends, like in the very first episode. And if it wasn't for that peer pressure, Anne wouldn't have winded up in Amphibia in the first place. But that's a very interesting topic, whether or not Anne truly wants to go back home or not. I mean, she still does, but it's a very complex underlying situation because, on the one hand, Anne has warmed up to the Planters so freaking much. Like, they're pretty much her her adopted family, and they are family to her now. And however, by the same token, I still feel like Anne does really want to go back home, and I'm sure she misses her. I'm sure she misses her family back home, and I don't know what else she would miss going back, but she's really made herself home at Amphibia, and she's real grown accustomed to it, and the Pointers have grown really fond of her too, and her and Sprig. And now, let me tell you something, because with these two, they're each other's first true. But they're their first like real friends, and the friendship they formed together is their first true friendship, because as long as Anne has known Sasha and Marcy, don't know much about Marcy's personality as of yet, but when it comes to Sasha, she's just been this very, like I said earlier, she's been very manipulative towards Anna over the years, and it's not until she meets Sprig to where she truly does learn the meaning of friendship. And to think My Little Pony was the only cartoon that I've watched that teaches the value of friendship, that couldn't be further from the truth. And yeah, same thing with Sprig. Anne is Sprig's first true friend also, and so it's like Sprig said when trying to stand up for Anne by hitting Sasha with his slingshot, and Sprig says something to her. And, he says, "No, for Anne's best friend, you sure don't know her all that well." And yeah, that right there is just one of those examples of something that a character says in the episode that it just really sticks with you and has a hell of a lot of meaning, a hell of a lot of underlying meaning within the conflict of the show, and Anne's conflicts and her struggles that she's had in the past, and with her trying to get back home and whatnot. And so yeah, when Anne and Sasha fight on atop of Toad Tower, and that's a hell of a scene. And at one point, this review is all over the place. Again, I apologize, but at first Sasha invites all the frogs to Toad Tower because she's lying to her. She was lying to Anne and everyone else, saying that they're hosting a party for them, but it turns out they want to either execute them or eat them. I don't remember which, but they want to eliminate them. So that's why they brought them there in the first place. And so fast forward back to Anne and Sasha's fight scene. At one point there are these bomb shrooms that go off, and which were introduced several episodes earlier in the series. And I'm surprised I haven't seen anything like that before. Like not even in any Mario games have I seen any explosive mushrooms, honestly. But yeah, so Wally, he places all those bomb shrooms in the sewers of Toad Tower. So he does that, and the whole tower starts to blow up. And at that point, it starts to crumble, and Sasha, everyone's pretty much falling to their death, and everyone else is trying to escape. And the main cast, and plus Anne, Sprig, Pauline, Hop Hop, and Sasha are all about to fall to their death off this damn tower. And so everyone's trying to cling on to them, like Sasha holds on to Anne, and then Sprig holds on to Anne, and then Pop Pop holds on to Sprig, and then Polly holds on to Pop Pop, and then yeah. So we have a literal cliffhanging situation right here. So it's at this point, and right before that, as the tower starts crumbling, uh, the song "Lean on Me" starts playing, and I'm like, whoa, 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 like what the hell? What the hell is happening? And as it was at that point, like the, I feel like watching it, like the whole world just stopped because that song playing. First off, I never heard a licensed song used in a cartoon like this and used so freaking effectively because that song. Let me tell you, that song, it perfectly encapsulates not only what's happening in the situation, but it encapsulates pretty much what the whole series is all about and what Anne has learned and is, what her purpose is throughout the whole series. And while the song's still playing and while Sasha's hanging on for dear life, literally, she she says to Anne, and she starts crying, and she says, "Perhaps you were better off without me." And she lets go, and everyone, including the audience, thinks she is about to die. And let me tell you that freaking shot, that black silhouetted shot with everyone hanging and Sasha letting go against the red background, that is some powerful freaking imagery. Like, holy crap, that is. And when Sasha falls seemingly to her death, she gets caught by Grime, who is the leader of the Toads, and she was also working for the Toads to try to get back home. And because, yeah, this, like I said, so many deep layered stuff happening, and the motives all these characters have. Sasha, especially in this episode, she has some very interesting motivations. And yeah, it's right after that happens. Anne is sitting atop of Toad Tower, and we have all of the planters comforting her while she's crying on top of the tower, and because she had to literally and metaphorically let go of her former best friend. And yeah, this episode, it about fucked me up, I'm telling you. So yeah, there's a reason this episode made me cry, and and I will never be able to hear that song. I will never be able to hear "Lean on Me" the same damn way ever again. By the way, and yeah, after that, they get back to Wartwood, and at one point they're all just sitting on like I think it's a fountain they're sitting at, and they're sitting with their backs against the camera and the skies, and the camera pans up to the sky to the snow mountains, which is what Anne needs to bypass in order to have a chance of getting back home, as mentioned earlier in the season. And at the top right it says "End of Part 1." And yeah, that was something else. So yeah, I think my cat agrees. So, I told you this episode was a doozy, and very few TV shows have been able to make me cry, and this episode just stuck with me so much because Anne Boonjoy, she's a fighter, and she's grown so much as a character. She's changed a lot, and according to flashbacks, because there was a flashback in this episode too, of her and the human and back in her home world, showing sort of her old ways and how she was yeah, how she was a little bit of a. I mean, even while she's in Amphibia, she can still be a little selfish. But excuse me, I feel like her flaws were more apparent back when she was living back home, because she didn't used to like frogs. At one point, there's a frog who very peculiarly there's a frog. It looks just like Hot Pop in that flashback, which is so damn peculiar to me. But at that point, she was like, "Oh, frogs are the worst." Man, how much she's changed. And so, yeah, the episode ends, and holy fucking shit! There's reason why this review was all over the place, because my thoughts were all over the place, and I was thinking about the episode all damn day yesterday, and so yeah, like even I'm getting ahead of myself, but yeah, this show, what a hell of a show this is, because yeah, I this is the reason I love this show so much, and I love the characters so much, and why this has become my new favorite show. Because I mean, how these characters have grown, and all of the main cast, and back with Sprig and Ann, they're probably my favorite best friend duo I've seen in a TV show in quite a long time. They even beat out Clinkin McCloud and Ronnie Ann and Sid Chang. I feel like, as much as I like Ronnie and Sid Chang, when it comes to Spran against the world, after all, they're probably my favorite best. They're probably like my favorite TV best friends, to be honest with you. So, I mean, yeah, I'm really drawing a blank here. So let me cut the video so I can figure out what to say next. I guess this is more like a series review than an actual episode specific one, but one of the strongest aspects of the show is the dynamics between the characters, between Sprig and Ann. Like I said, their dynamic is so strong, and because the planters are running at the excuse me, I almost said a verbal typo by mistake, because the planters are Anne's new family, and she acknowledges them as her new family, and vice versa. She's family to them too. So yeah, it really does beg the question: does Anne really want to go back home? And how? And if she is able to go back home, then Lord knows she's going to miss the planters dearly. And so, like I said, there's still so many freaking questions that this show has, and so I mean, I might have to. I might have to wait a long time to have, and Anne herself might have to wait a long time to have any of our questions answered. But patience is a virtue after all, and at the end of the day, we'll get our answers, and we'll get her answers. We'll all get our answers before we know it. So, yeah. This show is phenomenal. Honestly, I cannot stop praising this show. There's a reason I don't praise shows to death if I'm not extremely passionate about it. Because I never praise something out the ass if I'm not extremely passionate for it. Because yeah, this show, let me tell you, I'm so glad I sort of stumbled upon it, and I'm glad it was it was the first brand new Disney Channel show that I was able to fully invest myself in, because previous Disney Channel shows, a bunch of new Disney shows that I've been on since I was in like high school during like throughout the 2010s, I have watched incidentally but never fully invested myself in, such as Gravity Falls. I never completely watched Gravity Falls. Star vs. the Forces of Evil. I desperately wanted to watch these shows in full, but I never got to. DuckTales even, I wanted to watch that. And Wander Over Yonder to a lesser extent. But yeah, I'm glad that there's a brand new Disney show that I was able to fully invest myself in. And it's... Once I saw this show, I knew deep down in my heart that it was something special, because this entire first season was great from start to finish, and the season finale was outstanding. And damn it, there's some eye again. So yeah, honestly, this season finale rivals that of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic season finales, and even those haven't made me cry, and I'm not afraid to admit that. I'm a human being, but it takes a powerful enough TV show to warrant that shit out of me, and I mean, sure, I'll probably get upset. I'll probably cry during the series finale of My Little Pony. But for the first season finale of Amphibia to really sort of shake me up and have me feel all sorts of emotions, because there's so much stuff going on in the finale. There was so many layers upon layers of stuff happening, and it was... I don't even know where I'm going anymore. I'm just talking outside of my ass about my new favorite show. So, when it comes to Sasha, as much of... Damn it, my phone needs to quit cutting off while I'm recording. As much as Sasha has been a cunning, you-know-what towards Anne, and just, as a character, she's very interesting. And even though she's been very manipulative and hurtful towards Anne, I feel like... at that scene where she was literally about to fucking die, I feel like maybe she has learned her ways in that moment, and I do hope she's alright. And so yeah, anyone who's watched this show, who's watched this finale, anyone who's a fan of this show is just as like flabbergasted and is just dumbfounded and is just amazed, feeling all these emotions at once over this finale, feeling the same way as I am. Yeah, is they understand, like, it's so much to think about and so much to happen, and there's so many more questions still. We still don't know more about the Calamity Box. We still don't know why Hot Pop lied to Anne and buried that in the ground, because who knows, that shit probably is a weapon of mass destruction and could end all life as we know it on Amphibia. The country of Amphibia and that whole dimension. So there's still so many unanswered questions. Still so many theories. Like the biggest ones are what the Calamity Box is all about and where the freaking hell is Marcy. Because we still don't know that much about Marcy's personality. We don't. Nowhere near as much as we do for Sasha and Anne. So yeah, anyone who's a fan of the show, you know all the theories. And the gem theory, like when the Calamity Box was first opened in the human world, like the power within the gems like instilled themselves upon the girls that were standing before it, which which is why that's the reason people think that Anne's eyes were glowing bright blue to represent one of the colors of the gems in the very first episode when she was fending off that praying mantis. And here's another thing. If you notice in the damn title card, if you notice in the damn title sequence, like literally the logo for the damn show, if you pay close attention to the background of that, it can be a little hard to notice because it's kind of blurry, but you defending off this giant toad like being on the right, which could possibly be Grime. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Just like Anne, that goes for everything. But you know, this is completely unrelated. But to quote Max Black from Two Broke Girls, I have no idea what's gonna happen next. But whatever does happen next, I kind of feel ready for it. And so yeah, I feel like Anne needs to remember that too. I feel like she has learned that at this point. She's learned so much in this show. And don't want to make my hair too messy. So yeah, I'm sorry that this video is late, but I just needed time to process everything and figure out how to actually, you know, make a video out of this and get all my thoughts together in a concise enough format for a video. And so all in all, I'm going to have to hurry up and end off this video by saying I love the show, if you couldn't tell. Anne is a great protagonist. She's a great female lead, and which you don't see that every day. And she's also Thai American, which she's the very first animated character in television history to be Thai American, that's fucking awesome. And it's one of the behind the scenes videos that I watched before I started watching this series, where I learned that Anne was Thai, and I learned what Brenda Song's heritage was specifically, and that it turns out she is Thai as well. And just like the creator Matt Braley is also Thai American. So all that is really awesome, representing Thai culture. That's really awesome. And that's actually the name of the video I watched before watching the actual series. And so yeah, what's not to love about this show? The characters are great. If I had to pick a favorite out of the main cast, it would be Polly. If I love all the side characters too. Ivy and Maddie specifically. Ivy Sundu, she's absolutely freaking adorable. She's as cute as can be. She looks like a frog version of Lana, and right down to design and height and appearance and everything. And her and Sprig are so cute together as a couple too. So yeah, I'm gonna eat that shit up too. But when this is gonna be a cuteness overload. And so yeah, I'm gonna have to end off this video. If you like this video, then don't forget to subscribe, and be sure to stay tuned for I don't know when season 2 is gonna happen. However, there are some brand new shorts for the series that are happening in August, so I'll be looking forward to that. And I love how these characters are there for each other at the end of the day. Like specifically Anne and Sprig. Yeah, they're there for each other, like right until, like, you know, when they're about to die or something like that, which is pretty. But yeah, I'm Alex Wilmer, aka AP3Jump. Thank you so much for watching until the end. That's it for me, and I will see you soon. Goodbye. Spreading against the world. And yes, you might think dabbing is stupid, but I think when Anne does it, it's incredibly endearing. And we just have to. I can't wait to see what's next. And yeah, guess who I'm drawing tonight?